the latest. Thank you for your love and support. I appreciate you all. Those who are liking, sharing, commenting, I say thank you. My new, old, and returning subscribers, I say thank you so much. And those who are sending me super thanks to support the channel as well, I say thank you. The president of Uganda, Yoweri Museveni, powerful message to our African leaders. It's not that these leaders do not know exactly what to do and at what time to do what. These people are so much aware of what to do. But what is keeping them, as the First Lady of Sierra Leone said, that sometimes the external forces, the threats they receive, that's the reason to which they are not able to do whatsoever that they want to do. But as a leader, you should be prepared for whatsoever that will come your way, because we know what they have always been doing to our leaders that rose up to fight the good cause. So if you are coming in as a leader in Africa, you should be prepared to face such things. Yoweri Museveni is telling our leaders what exactly they need to do. We need to unite, and that is what we are calling for. And we know the system that these people have created. One is tribalism. And that tribalism is eating into the African hair to the point that it's destroying everything African, yet we do not see it, because this is a system that these people created to make sure that the African never rise up. We don't see beyond our individual tribes. And according to him, if you were saying you want to look at tribe, can you create army for every tribe in your country? That should tell us that we are one people. As long as we are in that same geographical area, we are one people, regardless of what these people made us to believe in ourselves, thinking that we are not one people. So we have to do away with tribalism, that thing that is eating into us, that religious things that they've created that is dividing the African. He also talked about we living in Africa becoming weak, and when we need people to defend us, we have to go to UN, go to wherever, and be calling for people to come into the country and the continent to defend us. Does this make sense?
The belief in the politics of identity. This is the big curse in Africa. People who believe in the politics of identity. Tribe, religion. For us, we say this is wrong. You should look at the politics of interests. It is all mentioned here. Of that, you find many countries cannot build state institutions. They cannot build pillars of state. How would you build an army if you believe in tribalism? Will you have an army for every tribe? If you don't believe in Uganda, how would you have a Uganda army? Now, if you don't have an army, what happens? You can't maintain peace. That's why people have got to go to the United Nations to come and defend them. Can you imagine? UN troops in Africa, what are they doing? Defending you. Why can't you defend yourself? Because of the wrong the underdevelopment of the human resource, lack of industrialization, and the export of the raw materials, which we have talked about here. So, you people, you must emphasize regional integration for the market, so that we have got, our business people have got guaranteed markets. And so on, there are 10, they are all here in this booklet. Now, finally, by removing the bottlenecks, you will create capacity for socio-economic transformation, not mere quantitative growth, sustainable growth. Because when you say sustainable development, can a child remain a child sustainably? That is a child sustainably. A child at puberty must transform into a teenager. A teenager must transform into an adult. This is the law of nature. Quantitative growth leading to qualitative change. But if you are a raw material exporting country, how will you transform? So I'm very glad that you are beginning to use in our vocabulary the words transformation. We must go from pre-industrial to industrial societies. I talked a little bit. I talked about it the other day with the leaders. How can you have a peasant producing another peasant? Until when? The peasant must disappear and we have the middle class. In Francais, we say bourgeoisie. The peasant must go, and we have bourgeoisie and proletariat, the working class, skilled working class. Europe has transformed. If you go to Europe in 1400, they had three classes. They had the peasants, the artisans, and the feudalists. By the time of the French Revolution, Francais, 1789, there were now four social classes. The feudalists, there was now a new class which never existed in human history, the middle class. Classe moyenne, you say? Is that how you say? Classe moyenne. Bourgeoisie. These were a new social class. But if you go to Europe today, there are no more feudalists, there are no more peasants. It is now class moyenne and the skilled working class. Society has changed. But here, we are engaged in conservation of underdevelopment. A peasant producing another peasant. I had forgotten to mention this. We had some argument with the Europeans recently. We passed a law which was discouraging homosexuality here. Then Mr. Biden removed us from the AGOA list. He chased us. That was one. Number two, the World Bank stopped giving us loans. But our economy grew by 6%. We are not bothered with all that. What is crucial for me, of all this, apart from our own mistakes, the next most important thing is regional integration. If we avoid internal mistakes and we are clear about the regional integration, the regional market, there is nothing, all that things that happen outside will not concern us. I thought I should mention that one also. The economy of Uganda has been growing very fast with or without external support.
That we will be living in Africa, in our country, and we'll still be expecting people to move out of wherever they are to come into the continent to come and give us security. It doesn't make sense. And that is why Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso decided to take their own security into their own hands. Because they said, if you want to be a sovereign nation, you should be able to take control over your own security. You don't sit in Africa and people will have to move from wherever they come from into the continent to come and protect you. Are you a child? We have to also talk about how we'll move forward. And that sometimes we talk about sustainability. We can never sustain anything for a very long time, because if you have a child who is 4 years today, in the next 5 years, the child is no longer 5 years, the child is 9 years. So we have to all see beyond these things that these people created. Always we talk about this thing, that Africans, what we need to do, we know. But what is keeping us from doing it is a problem. And one thing that he talked about is our mineral resources. We cannot continue to be giving our mineral resources to these people in the raw form whilst we continue to live in poverty. And we know this is also a system that they've created to make sure the African never move forward. And what are we doing? Now we know the problem and make sure that we take drastic measures to break forth from these colonial chains that is keeping the African in bondage, and the African is not moving forward. It's high time we stop doing the talking and back our words with actions, because these people hardly talk. Before we see Yellow Purple has strike, Yellow Purple is always striking, but the African is always talking. And enough of this talking. We have to do away with the talking and make sure that we add some action to it, like Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso are doing. We know the journey is not going to be easy, but you should be willing to stand firm and educate your people, like Mali, Niger are always doing. They carry their people along. If you, the leaders, explain issues to your followers, they will definitely support you. And when they see the concrete actions that you are backing your words with, everybody will support you, like what we are seeing happening in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. You don't need to neglect us, expecting us to understand issues. That is when these people will have a loophole to use your citizens against you, the leader. United we stand, divided we fall, and united we keep standing forever and ever. The greatest enemy of the African is mental slavery. So let's decolonize ourselves from mental slavery. Let's keep sharing to educate our brothers and sisters. Together we make African great for ourselves and the next generations that are going to come. So that's the latest around the world, in Africa, East Africa, and in Uganda.